psychology. Anyways, what is it like being a psychology major? I am going to answer that question in this video. So if you're new to the channel, I am Karabidina. I create Christian lifestyle, Christian education, and academia related videos. So videos like this to get the point. If you're new, hit that subscribe button and notification bell so that you can be notified every single time I post. I post every single Thursday. I don't know what time, but I post every Thursday. So just be aware. Every Thursday I'm going to post and stuff. So the structure of this video is going to be the following. Firstly, I'm going to talk about my experience and my advice. Secondly, going to talk about the pros and the cons. And then thirdly, going to give you the bonus point and basically close this video up and prompt you guys to do something for me. And stick till the rest of the video for you to understand the context and for you to get the bonus point at the end. Anyways, let us start. Regarding my experience, I'm going to answer the question, why did I choose psychology to begin with? First of all, I am not studying BA in psychology, but I'm studying BA in behavioral science with my major being psychology and sociology. But I want to be a clinical psychologist or counseling psychologist or research psychologist. Anyway, I want to be a psychologist. That's the point. That is the point. Anyways, why did I choose it? I chose it when I was in grade 9. I know that seems very crazy, but I have always been a planner. I always plan. Like before that, I wanted to be an astrophysicist, and before that, literally nothing else. Yeah, before, like my plan B, yeah, literally before that was nothing else. It was either astrophysicist and then psychologist, and then plan B to psychologist was like neuroscience or something like that. But that's not the point. I chose it because I really love psychology, and I feel like it was because of I just genuinely like was introspective from a young age. You just notice what type of person I am, and I noticed that I'm the type of person that likes helping people in a way, and I just not just like generally helping with physical ailment, but more of like helping them with like emotional caring and their emotional well-being, because I've noticed that within our society we literally just neglect that. And so it has always sort of like been my passion of like just being like, how are you feeling today, like are you good and stuff like that. So that is literally that is what I noticed about myself. And then from that I was like, okay, what careers can I choose from that? And then I think it was therapy, counseling, psychology, and I was like, which one is more academia related, because I've always knew that I wanted to sort of like go into like this path route of like not just fully focusing on helping people, but also fully focusing on how can I change the world also. Because I feel like with research and with being like enrolled in an institution and like participating in research, it can sort of like make a breakthrough and like sort of like change the world in a way. And so I feel like psychology sort of gives you that opportunity to do that. I don't know if you're doing like counseling or therapist, if you can, I don't know, you get the vibe. But that is why I chose it. Secondly, the modules that I've already done, because I'm doing my second year in my program, psychology modules that I already completed is, first year I did Introduction to Psychology, second semester in the first year I did Social and Community Psychology, second year this year, first semester I did Developmental Psychology and Personality Psychology, and now I'm currently doing Positive Psychology. So I've already completed like how much? 4? Yeah, 4 modules of psychology. Out of those 4, the ones that I feel like just resonate so much with my soul is personality psychology and developmental psychology. Like first semester was it for me. Like first semester I just felt something start. I feel like I'm studying what I came here to study. I don't know if you get the vibe, because first of all, with like personality psychology, I felt like wow, because we were basically, the structure of the textbook was just like theory, and then from the theory of like that, like we were based on like just studying the person, like personality, like sort of like studying the personality of a person, what components and everything like that. And like from that we look at every person within like psychology that have made like great contributions within like the psychology world, and then studying them and like how they view a person and how they view the personality, their theories and everything, and then try to apply that. And that was so beautiful, like trying to apply that within like a certain case study, like every single week would do that. And I feel like that was so helpful. Like for example, we looked at people like Carl Jung and B.F. Skinner in the behavior like world and everything like that. And we looked at Sigmund Freud and all those great people that just contributed so much to like psychology. And I feel like that is. And then moving forward to like my little advice is that choose it. It's very, very rewarding. You literally feel like you are changing the world in a way. I don't know how to put it. You feel like you are learning something you can apply it literally the next day, or like you can, because today I learned something in like my positive psychology class and I'm literally applying it to my life. I think we touched more on like what is it called, like, is it Sydney? I forgot his name, but basically like the theory of hope and everything like that, and like it coming in 3 components and all those things, and goals and preservation and all those things. And I just applying that to my life, that maybe this is why I haven't been reaching these goals, because I'm not being realistic or I'm not being logical about this. So I feel like you literally, it's rewarding because you can apply it in your life. Not all of it, but some of it. And so yes, that is my little advice. So let us get into the pros of actually studying psychology and being a psych major in my experience. First pro is you get to learn really cool is not even a word to begin to describe the amount of amazing information you literally get to learn. It is so amazing. Like, I just feel passion. I don't know how to, like, there's just passion and so much force and emotion behind all of that. And so to learn like really cool stuff, because I feel like in my first class, like intro to psychology module, like I got to, like, it opened my eyes to like different things within psychology that I feel like I knew at the back of my mind in a way, because I did do research before like being like I want to become a psychologist. But I was like, wow, it's so diverse. Like, for example, just like in my first modules, I literally learned about the research methods within psychology, about the biology of behavior, like just basically the brain and the neural part behind like certain behavior that we might be seeing in the world. That is it, I think also it was touched upon like developmental psychology, like is it nature versus nurture, like all those things. And it's so great. So anything, and it's so freaking fascinating, and that information is so interesting for me, because I feel like I've always like shown an interest in like the brain and an interest in the behavior of human beings, and just like observing that. And I feel like I learned so much, and also just learning about like human intelligence and IQ, and how like it is a good measuring instrument that we have already, the IQ test, but also it is not inclusive to like other demographics around the world. Like that information is. And also another one to add, I'm just like giving info, y'all. And also like I feel like the one thing that I learned that I love, there was a breakthrough in my life personally, that's what I'm saying, it's life-changing and like so amazing, because you can apply it like literally every day in your life. It's like what I learned in like my social psychology class like last year, that hey, we're social beings, and so our environment like plays a major role than we think in literally how we think and everything else. And so I feel like as a Christian that hit different. Like as a Christian that hit different, because the Bible does say an iron sharpens an iron. The Bible does say like something, choose wise friends, just something in that, and how like it influences you as a person. And I'm like, I see the connection. And something that I took from that like whole situation that I learned is that hey, like if you cannot really like choose the people that you really want to choose, that I feel like are going to contribute to like you becoming the person you want to be, like create the environment that you want to become in a way. Like read books, that is an environment. Like expose yourself to social, like your like curate your algorithm on TikTok, on Instagram to show you the things that you want to see. And that is like an environment that is like, because like, you know, all the information, it is beautiful. So second pro is that it is such a great skill and a module required in like most fields. So it's like it prepares you in a way to get into like most fields you want to get into. Like for example, you decide to do something in postgraduate that your foundation was on psychology, and it will like help you to just become that something that is greater, because you have a foundation laid of like how humans behave, especially when you want to get into like, I don't know what field though. I feel like any field, and honestly at this point, because I literally like day by day I'm noticing how like psychology literally had an influence in like most industries around the world, like most fields, most programs, most everything, because just psychology as a whole is literally the scientific study of the mind, of the human mind and behavior and everything like that. And just like knowing that you can apply it and just use it when you're trying to do something in any other field. Example of like how like psychology is so integrated in like most fields is like one thing that I learned like while reading this other book is like the self-actualization, the hierarchy of self-actualization. I think it's called that. I might be mistaken, but this hierarchy by Abraham Maslow, like that module is usually used in like marketing or brand marketing or just communication as a whole, and like just trying to understand, just like making sure that your brand or whatever business you're in, something like that, like just chooses something of similar archetypes. And also archetypes that are like done by Carl Jung is also used within like marketing and communications and stuff like that, making your brand choose this certain archetypes so that you can resonate with your consumers and stuff like that. And so you see how like psychology is literally found in most industries and can be applied practically in your life, and that right there is rewarding. So the third point is it helps you with your conceptual reasoning and critical thinking skills in a way that psychology basically is like more on topics such as like scientific methods, decision making, and like problem solving in a way. And so with those topics in mind, like it can help you like to know how to think critically, because for example, let's just say we have this person's theory and this other person's theory like regarding a particular thing, and so you need a level of like knowing those two informations and having a scenario and being given a scenario and actually applying those information, those theories sort of like that you learn in like ever changing situations and scenarios, because you will not be given the same scenario that you were given while studying for a test or something like that. And so it also like touches on like the conceptual reasoning behind it, that there's so many concepts by so many different people regarding one specific thing, and so knowing so many different concepts, you can sort of like take those concepts and like create your own understanding in a way and know how to reason within like academia or within just anywhere, and just like create a reasoning based on the information that you learn. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like that just makes you smarter and makes you like change the way you view the world in a way, you know. Fourth point is there's a lot of room for specialization and development. And because I really like mentioned that the fact that psychology is like sort of like, it's so broad, like psychology within psychology is so broad. There's like neuropsychology, there's like clinical psychology, there's like counseling psychology. And I'm not talking about postgraduate, I'm not talking about the thing you might be studying. Like within psychology, like in undergraduate, I feel like there's so many modules and so many courses. Not courses, so many modules, like forensic psychology, developmental psychology, this, that. You get the vibe of psychology. Like there's so many psychology. And so like having all of that, it gives you like a variety to know what you like within psychology, industrial psychology, to know what you like within psychology. And so when you will be doing your postgraduate, you can like have lots and lots of room for like specializing within a specific type of psychology, because you've been exposed to a whole lot that you know which one you actually like. Because if you're like, I don't want to counsel people, I can literally just get into research and make groundbreaking research within psychology and change the trajectory of things. You get the vibe. Also, like I said, because it's very broad and there's so many opportunities, there's a sort of like this element of development that can occur within you, because you are growing as a person and you're being exposed to so many things, variety of things, that you can develop and become, I don't know, a well-diverse person, an open-minded person in a way, because there's so many concepts and so many theories and so many things and stuff like that. And the last one, the last pro, is that you get to help others and yourself. And like I said, like that it is sort of like rewarding because it helps me as a person. Like I get to help myself with the information that I'm literally learning about. I'm not kidding. Like I feel like you don't like necessarily be like, oh, I am studying so that I can literally apply it in my life or help myself. No, it's sort of like it happens subconsciously because you do now have the information in your mind. You're learning, you're studying, going about your day, anything like that. But something that you learned in class or something that you learned while reading, when faced with like situations, you can literally sort of like apply the knowledge, apply the wisdom, if you might say, in your life. And so you get to like sort of like help yourself and like help other people, just like in a sense that you just help them see things from a different perspective based on the perspective that was shaped on what you studied, and just help them like self-reflect and like self-regulate and self-control and all those things. Like it's amazing. Now let us move to the cons. To every situation there's always a good and a bad list, but this one's, I feel like the cons are not really that hectic, but they are the cons. The first one is that like psychology is one of those modules that can be so easily overlooked and underestimated by many people. I feel like there's just lack of knowledge on like what is psychology and what do we what, like as a psychology student, in a way, what am I actually studying? And so because of that, like people just be like, oh yeah, you know, I failed this module, I'm gonna take psychology because it's easy. And I'm there like, babe, it is not. Like, boo, it is not. And so because of that, people that level of, oh, it's just easy, or I'm gonna underestimate that, I subconsciously, it leads them to like not put an effort and then end up failing because you just thought in your brain that it's gonna be easy, and so you just didn't put enough effort. And so I feel like this one, and also I feel like in that people think it is not part of STEM, because STEM is usually like those, STEM basically means science, technology, engineering, mathematics, because people like usually like prioritize those type of like fields, those type of like programs or courses within those fields. And so people like to not put it in part of STEM. And yes, I am gonna talk about STEM, like I'm gonna talk about psychology being part of STEM. And so my point is, like, it is part of STEM. I checked the information, but there's so many websites with so many different informations. But anyway, I checked and it is part of STEM, and like people don't like to put it within STEM because of that reason. That is my point of view. That is what I think, honestly. Do not drag me with this statement, but that is honestly what I think. And so that is a con, because as a person studying it, people can just be like, oh, I don't know, you know. But it depends on like the people that you meet, because people that are high intellectual beings sort of don't do that, you get. So the second con, it is that it's competitive to be a psychologist. Like, oh my, give you like a perspective of like what I'm talking about is that the psychology is like a common module in like most universities, because like I said, it's usually required in most fields. And so like psych classes can be a lot of students and stuff like that. And so most of them of course do not want to be psychologists, but like most of them do want to be psychologists. And so it can be like 2,000 or 1,000 students, not 2,000, like 1,500 students, right, doing psychology within like 3 years or 4 years degree, whatever. And then there's like, out of, let's say, like estimation, let's say like in those 1,500 only like 1,000 or 700 wanna be psychologists. And then in postgraduate, y'all literally can take like in honors or masters is worse. In honors they can take like maybe 50 or even less, like literally per university, per program. In honors they can take like 30 or 20, and so you get like the competition from like 700 or 1,000 to just a few little people. That is the competition. And so that is why, like, when you want to be a psych student, when you're watching this and you just got a matric or gonna finish with grade 12 or something like that, and you want to study psychology and you want to be a psychologist, just know that you better put your A game from the beginning of the semester. Like, it's like you gotta work hard to literally get above that. You gotta excel, you gotta be at the top. And so that's why like I'm always like freaking out when I'm literally getting a 70 or something, because I'm like I gotta get good marks, because it's competition. I'm competing with people, whether I like competition or not. It's competition, you get the vibe. Leads me to the third point, which is you require a postgraduate to actually do something with psychology, in a sense that like just a 3-year or 4-year degree in psychology or something like that, like it is not enough to become a psychologist. You need to do like something else. You need to go into postgraduate. In South Africa there's honors and then masters, and then if you want a PhD you can get a PhD, but usually after masters that's when you can become like a qualified psychologist that you want to be. But my point is that you require postgraduate to actually do something with like an undergraduate psychology degree. So that can be con if you don't know that information from the head start, if you did not like mentally prepare yourself for all those years of studying and stuff like that. And so just talking about the years, it takes me to the fourth point, which is it is a long path. It requires so many years, so many hours, so many, like the competition, so many hours, because you gotta compete with other people, because it's very competitive, because you gotta get great marks, and it's a long time, because there's 4-year or 3-year of undergraduate, and then 1 year of honors. I think honors is 1 year, 2 years, I don't know, but just 1 year, let's just say 1 year of honors. And then after 1 year of honors, I don't know quite well if you do community service or something like that, but then you have to do your masters, and masters is like 2 years. So that is like literally like let's just say on average like 8 years, like 8+ years or something. Because what if you want to stop in the middle and just travel or whatever? That is like 8+ years to literally just be a qualified psychologist, and that is only in South Africa, because it's very, very competitive and it takes so many years all around the world. Because I heard somewhere that in the US you can like move from like undergraduate to a PhD, but those PhD programs can be like 6+ years or even 8 years, or even I saw this other one of like 11 years or something, or 12 years or something, and I'm like, that is so many years just dedicated to studying. I believe that like for you, if you want to be a psychologist, you really require passion, you really require like so much passion and internal motivation, and just knowing that this is genuinely what I want to do for the rest of my life. And just like love learning and love studying and just fall in love with it, because you're probably going to be doing it for a long time. Like these cons just really fall under if you want to study to become, if you're doing psychology, to become a psychologist. Because then if you don't want to become a psychologist and you just want to study psychology for the fun of it or for the knowledge, then we eliminate the fact that it's very long. We eliminate the fact that you require a postgraduate to do something, I think. But also I feel like anything within like the social sciences or health sciences or anything like that, it really does require a postgraduate. Because even when you study in sociology, if you want to become a sociologist, you really do require a postgraduate, and most careers that I know require a postgraduate. And so if you stick through the rest of this video, you are here for the bonus point. And the bonus point is that you get to diagnose yourself as a psych major, as a psychology student and major or whatever. Like you really do get to diagnose yourself. And like that is a positive thing and a negative thing of like, oh, I think I'm depressed, or oh, I think I'm sad. No, not sad. Oh, I think I have autism or something. Like, don't do that. You're not a professional. And I'm going to touch on that, on like the 5 things I wouldn't do as a psych student on my TikTok. So if you don't follow me on TikTok yet, follow me on TikTok, because I'm sort of like going to talk about those little things on TikTok probably after I post this video. So if you're from TikTok and I referred you here, hi, subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every single time I post, and know that I post every single Thursday. And what was my point? Oh yes, you don't diagnose yourself. Like be reflective and like self-aware that, hey, I think I'm sort of like the textbook symptoms of being depressed, sort of like seeing them in my life, and so I'm going to do something about it, seek professional help, and not say I'm depressed. Because I feel like I will touch on it on TikTok, like sort of like the dangers of doing that as a person or as a student, just the person in general. But do not diagnose yourself in like non-mental disorder things, but be self-aware if you might be showing symptoms of that. That is the plus side and the positive side. And so it's thin ice, it's a thin veil, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, thank you for watching. I need to have a closing, but thank you for watching this video. Watch my previous videos, because I am pretty awesome. I think because I'm pretty awesome. Bye.